All right, this is Brian Johnson, staff writer at Finance and Commerce newspaper here in Minneapolis. I'm pleased to be joined by Rick Martagon, who is the executive director for Building Strong Communities, an apprenticeship preparatory program designed to bring more people of color, women, and veterans into the trades. Rick has 27 years of experience in the construction industry and a history of advocating for apprenticeship programs. His background includes experience in both union and apprenticeship training, including his work with Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers Local. So, Rick, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. And I do have a little bit of time in the industry. I'm a tile layer by trade. I'm uh, currently serving as the executive director for Building Strong Communities. As you mentioned, it's a apprenticeship preparatory program designed to bring uh, people of color, women, and veterans into the trade. That's our missions. It's a focus, but we are serving the state statewide in Rochester, greater Minnesota, Duluth, and Iron Range, and the metro area. So uh, it's a great organization, and I'm a tile layer by trade. So after transitioning from the Navy, serving aboard the USS Towers, a guided missile destroyer, forward deployed over in Yokosuka, Japan, I came back and started utilizing my GI Bill and going to college. And during that time, uh, I met a tile layer who just happened to marry my sister, and he needed a little bit of help, and that began my journey into the construction industry back in 1988. And so I'm
Mhm.
now a retired tile layer out of Local One, Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, and now helping people realize the same opportunities that I had, and participating as executive director of Building Strong Communities.
Yeah, well, you're way ahead of me because I was going to ask you about your own experience and how you personally got involved in the trades. You did that for a long time, working in the field before you transitioned to this role. What was that like, uh, being a field worker, hands-on worker in the trades? Was it a good career for you?
Yeah, it's interesting in that, I grew up on West 7th Street and, heavy blue collar area. Uh, no one in my family had gone to college prior. I was the oldest of four. And so as I went into the service, trying to figure out what I was going to do for the rest of my life, as I got out, it's a little bit intimidating. And luckily, I had a brother-in-law who's still one of my best friends to this day, and my sister who introduced the tile industry for me. And so it was a small residential company, and eventually I transitioned to larger commercial with Grazzini Brothers and Company, and joined Local One, and that was in 1995. So 88 to 95, I worked in small residential work, which was fantastic, a great learning experience. And then it came to Grazzini Brothers and Company, and started working for them in 1995 and doing big work. And it was fun. It was interesting. I was second foreman on the XL Energy Center. I've spent the majority of my career out at MSP at the airport, doing some really great expansion projects, A and C concourse, B concourse. It was just a lot of really diverse work while I was there. And in the process, I became a foreman. And not only that, I started to be an apprenticeship instructor for Local One at the Apprenticeship Training Center for Tile. And that was in 1998. And that's how my journey in apprenticeship really began, was as an instructor. And then in 2007, I transitioned full time as a apprenticeship coordinator for Local One, and then became the director, which is really opens up some other opportunities, which is to become the president of the Apprenticeship Coordinators Association of Minnesota, which was an association of all union registered apprenticeship programs in the construction industry throughout the state. So I was able to interact with everyone and learn more about every other trade and their programs as well. So it was really pretty exciting to do that. And in the meantime, I met some people from the Department of Labor, Commissioner Peterson at the time, Jessica Lumen, and um, they presented an opportunity to go and manage uh, the staff that develops, regulates, and promotes registered apprenticeship throughout Minnesota in all industries. And I took advantage of that opportunity and went to the state of Minnesota from 2015 to 2022. So largely, and then came here to Building Strong Communities. And you mentioned the mission of really helping people connect, expand participation for women, people of color, and veterans in registered apprenticeship. And the common theme for all of that brings me all the way back to West 7th Street. And you know, what I was able to achieve and experience throughout the trade that, you hear the mantra, it's the path to the middle class. Trades are a great opportunity and a great pathway to the middle class. And it truly is true. I raised two kids. One served in the Marine Corps and is a member of Local 455. He came through the Veterans and Pipe Program through the Marine Corps and the United Pipe Trades. And my other son went to school at Mankato State and is now in Atlanta. So it really provided us, my wife and I, with the opportunity to raise a family, have good wages. We've had health care since 1995. And now as I start to look towards the end, we'll be able to retire and I'll have a pension in place to be able to enjoy post-work life afterwards. So it's been a very blessed career path and exciting diversity of many jobs and roles, but all in within that, the common theme is to help people experience that same success that I have by getting the information out to them about the great opportunities as a unique craft worker and the training that you can provide.
Yeah, and Rick, wonder if you could talk a little bit more about why diversity is important to building and construction trade unions in the state. Obviously, you want to broaden the talent pool, and it just is important to reflect the commitment to inclusion, right?
Yeah, well, listen, that's a great follow-up to what I just explained. So the successes that I've experienced and the well-being of my pay and the benefits that I had for our family uh, really brings back to again to who I am now, and I'll follow up in a little bit here after I tell you a little bit more about who I am. So my grandparents on my father's side, my grandfather's from Mexico and my grandmother from Texas, came to Minnesota, work in the fields as migrant workers and became citizens. My grandfather became a citizen, and so as a new American, he was they stood they provided the base for where I am today. And so as we look at why it's important for the, the trades to have a strong diversity and inclusion amongst the communities, it's just that, right? It's to provide opportunity. It's a commitment to the community to bring people and bring these great opportunities to them. And Minnesota's demographics have been changing and will continue to change. And so as building trades, the commitment to every community throughout Minnesota is that we'll provide those opportunities to all of you and to all Minnesotans. And so as you look at the makeup of uh, Minnesota and you look at the makeup of the workforce, making sure that everybody has the information to learn about the great opportunities and be a part of it is really important. And the trades have committed to that. And they've done that through the creation of building strong communities. It is a result of a couple of decades of collection of best practices of how to um, get the word out about what's available to people. And now it's come together in one uh, nonprofit that its sole mission is to bring those opportunities to the community.
And how are you doing right now in terms of improving diversity in the construction industry and the building trade specifically? And how does that compare with, say, 20 years ago, 10 years ago?
Well, statistically, and I'll talk about registered apprenticeship broadly, as in all industries. Um, and in registered apprenticeship, is a workforce model that is really growing as well. Right now, in 2024, the latest statistics from the Department of Labor and Industry have uh, the percentage of people of color participating in registered apprenticeship at over 26%. And 20 years ago, that was less than half. And so you take a look at the very intentional efforts to bring people these opportunities and to make sure that people are being included in the workforce and especially in the trades. Uh, you're noticing that difference and the commitment, and I've been happy to be a part of it for the last couple of decades.
And I believe about the you're seeing also increases in the percentage of women in the apprenticeship workforce.
Absolutely. And if we take a look back in the year 2000 or the late 90s, every every participation percentage was less than half of what it is today. And so you're seeing growth and intentional efforts to bring people into the opportunity. Building strong communities in the last 2 years has had cohorts that have been 79% BIPOC, and last cohort 2024 was 80%. So we, in the last 2 years, have placed 109 people in 22 different construction occupations. So that's throughout Minnesota, both in greater Minnesota, Duluth, Iron Range area, western Minnesota, and uh, and southern Minnesota.
I wonder if we could just back up to a little bit and talk about some of the specific features of the Building Strong Communities program. I understand you have offer hands-on experience across 15 different trades. There's an opportunity to earn college credits. Can you walk me through
Yeah,
that?
absolutely, absolutely. So building strong communities is funded by all the building and construction trades throughout Minnesota. It's a 12-week, primarily virtual program. The first 8 weeks of the program, our participants attend classes virtually. So in the evenings with our partner, North Edmonton Community College, who delivers the related technical instruction or the multi-core craft curriculum, which is a construction curriculum intended to familiarize people and prepare them to go into registered apprenticeship in the building construction trades. They also attend one night with our other partner, Twin Cities Rise, who delivers an emotional empowerment class. Provides you some tools to interact or react on a both personal and professional uh, basis, which helps keep you in helps you handle different situations and keep the opportunity in front of you versus reacting differently or something that's not helpful. We also bring people through job site visits, current job site, active job site visits. We do mock interviews with each individual and provide coaching for them during these first 8 weeks. We also do an assessment to see where your interests lie and what you'd like to go into. Would you like to go into a licensed trade? Would you like to? Where is that interest? And so, as you take that assessment and identify what you're interested in, throughout those 8 weeks of virtual classes, I bring in subject matter experts from every single one of the trades. So a day in the life of a pipe fitter, a plumber, a day in the life of an electrician or a bricklayer. What is it? So apprenticeship coordinator or director from one of those trades will come in and go through all aspects of what it is. So the individual looking at that trade can ask the questions and learn, is this the career choice that I want to make? And the additional piece that we do is we team up each of the participants with an advocate from day one. someone who knows the industry, can help mitigate any barriers that would prevent you from going uh, past the 12-week training. We want to make sure you stay in and you're interested in this. And during those first 8 weeks, we reinforce all the best practices that will help a person be successful in the industry. So
Hmm.
that's a great first 8 weeks. And during those 8 weeks, I ask each individual, pick out 3 or 4 of the occupations you're most interested in. And then let's set up the last 4 to 6 weeks, which is week 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13, 14 in some instances, where you want to go for your hands-on experiences. So, each of the programs has time. We leverage every single one of the union registered apprenticeship training centers and their programs throughout Minnesota, the Rochester area, northern Minnesota, Duluth, Iron Range, the metro area, and we provide the individual to go do that work. So if you're interested in becoming a heavy equipment operator and you're interested in the operating engineers local 49, they have a 4-week program that we'll provide to you, and you'll go have your time in the seat learning about how to drive that individual pieces of equipment. They experience multi pieces of equipment and prepare you to go out into the field right away, right after this training concludes. So that's 12 weeks. And what we do then is we work with you to help get you placed into those programs. And the programs are invested because they are invested in the program and funding it. And so it's a great relationship. But not to forget about anybody. Our nonprofit partners in the area are phenomenal. So we're connected with uh, uh, the different nonprofit areas or nonprofits in each of the communities that can be that liaison for us to the individuals who are in there, being served by that community. So we work, we align pathways with workforce investment boards, with state agencies, cities, city governments, with our nonprofit partners, with K through 12, uh, and with other organizations that help get the word out about the opportunities that exist in the building construction trades. So 12 weeks of very in-depth immersion into what a career would look like for you as a construction professional. And it really is about providing an individual with the most information that we can so that they can make an informed choice about where they want to be when they're, as they continue forward. Our demographics go anywhere from a person right out of high school to someone in their later years, 50s and 60s. We've had folks, and if there's a demographic that exists, they've participated in our program. So it's a really cool program. It's one of the best things I've ever been a part of as far as the effectiveness and the reach into all the communities and actually the reach throughout Minnesota.
So there are a lot of different directions people can go, literally in the state where they want to work in different geographic areas of the state, or in terms of the type of work they want to do, whether they want to be a bricklayer, pipe fitter, etc. A lot of different opportunities out there, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's great because if you just ask the person that you walk to on the street, hey, how do you how do you get into this program, or how do you become a bricklayer? How do you become a pipe fitter or electrician? Most people they may know, but most likely they wouldn't. And we help people get to those, understand how you access all those programs, and then we help you get there. And it's really by leveraging our partnerships with all of the union construction apprenticeship programs throughout the state, and you know, and the professionals that are part of it. We also do panel events. So we have construction professionals come in who are out in the trade, journey workers, and provide uh, a Q&A, a presentation and Q&A for all of our individuals to ask what it's like for them. Well, what's really interesting is this year during National Apprenticeship Week, which is November 7th through the 11th, we have 4 panel events. So 17th through the 23rd, is that Building Strong Communities is hosting 4 panels. They're virtual panels. And you can find them on our website at buildingstrong.org. We're going to have 3 panels made up of graduates from our program who are now out in the field. They're either journey workers or they're registered apprentices. So they've come out of the last 5 to 7 years of our program. So it's exciting that now, rather than going to ask journey workers who haven't been through the program, come and provide the feedback on their experience and what life is like for them now, we're going back to Building Strong Communities graduates who are going to come in and do that. And that's the exciting part about what's happening here, the successes that we have experienced over the last few years.
Well, in my years of covering the construction industry, I've heard from people, everyone from, like you said, just people fresh out of high school who are pleased to have the opportunity to go into and get a good paying job without going through getting the 4 year college degree. You know, nothing wrong with that, but it's not for everyone. And then I've also heard from maybe single moms who had gone through a divorce and are looking for a better paying job to support themselves, their family. What are your story? What have you heard any specific stories about from your recent graduates? And is there anything you care to share, um, about those their experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. As you're asking that question, I'm kind of getting goosebumps here because of the stories that we've been able to observe just my last 2 years here, and it's really exciting. So you talk about single moms, and we had a lady who had a career change, and she attended our classes with her son on her knee. Most often, he was part of our classes, our virtual classes, which was fun to watch. And today, she is a second-year apprentice with the Finishing Trades Institute of the Upper Midwest. She's a commercial painter. She's a commercial painter now, and she absolutely loves what she's doing. And what was nice is, our classes are there. We meet you where you're at, so you can attend. So if you're working during the day, you attend our evening classes, or if you have a child, that child can be with you during class as it's virtual. So that was great, and that's Crystal, and she absolutely will be part of our panel events coming up. Another person, Natalie, who came right out of high school, single mom, reached out to me when she was 17 years old and was very excited about the opportunity to become an operating engineer, and was singularly focused on that particular occupation. And she graduated this last cohort in 2024, and she has been stellar. She works for Ames Construction. She's an operating engineer for Local 49, and she couldn't be any happier with the work that she's doing. And I believe she's operating a skid steer right now. And so that's phenomenal, right? Single mom. She just turned 19 years old and well on her way to great success. And we have a ton of other successes as well. Last year we had at least 10 new Americans, either from African nations, Mexico, Russia, who are now in different trades. For example, we met with the deputy director from Department of Energy with last 2 weeks ago with electrician apprentices, and each of them had a unique story to tell. But we had 109 graduates placed in 22 different occupations over just the last 2 years. And prior to my arrival to Building Strong Communities, they had similar stories to tell. Some of them are just so unique. We had a gentleman who I asked to speak at our graduation ceremony 2 years ago. And without any prompting, and I didn't know his background, he teared up and said that he had been justice impacted individual, and that he never thought that he would have this type of opportunity and this experience, and it's changed his life.
Hmm.
They're incredible stories, and each time we have a ceremony, if you just don't tear up a little bit, it's pretty tough because this program is changing lives, and a career in union construction occupations changes lives, and the opportunities that are there are incredible. And as we said, the participation of the word is out now. There's been a very intentional effort to get the word out to the community, and it's working.
Hmm. Well, great to hear those stories, Rick. Thank you for your time and wish you well in all your future endeavors with the Building Strong Communities.
Well, Brian, thank you for having me. And can I put one last plug in?
Sure, certainly.
Building Strong Communities is currently recruiting for the 2025 cohort. Our cohort is designed to begin in February, second week in February, and graduate people at the beginning of the hiring season in May. So we're recruiting right now. If you're interested in being a Building Strong Communities participant, you're interested in the construction industry, please visit our site, buildingstrong.org. And there's application. There's a ton of great information on it. There's great information about National Apprenticeship Week. And, for that matter, if you're interested in registered apprenticeship, visit the Minnesota Department of Labor's apprenticeshipmn.com website for more information about all apprenticeship programs throughout Minnesota.
Well, great to know. And nice talking to you, Rick, as well. Great information there. And hope we can stay in touch and talk again soon.
Please, anytime, invite me. I'm happy to do this again. And next time I can bring some folks who went through the program and actually experiencing the benefits of career they chose.
Sounds great. Well, thank you, Rick. Have a great day.
You too, Brian. See you now.
Take care.